Welcome back, everyone, to the Italian Film Podcast. How are you? Today, I'm here to talk to you about the studio and why I'm in love with this TV show. And at the very moment, I think it's one of the best, one of the finest TV show that I've seen so far in 2025. And I'm gonna be more, let's say, provocative, but most likely it's one of the best comedy show I have seen in television in the last 5 to 10 years. It's fantastic. And then I'm gonna talk about it and explain why I believe this is the case. So what are we talking about? We talk about Seth Rogen as Matt Remick, that it's basically the new head of this fake major studios called Continental Studios. And it's basically navigating this moment where the movie are struggling and we're going to see everything that's wrong basically with the industry. And it's very funny and it's very on point. So why I do believe it's great? Well, the first thing, we have spent months and weeks in the last couple of years trying to put our fingers on a problem with Hollywood as an industry. But the fact is that there are so many problems in Hollywood as an industry, and many of those problems are created by the industry itself. And in a way, it's going to self-destruct itself, but at the same point, it's like we really need to again reinvent the wheel and change the way Hollywood make movies, but cinema make movies in general, because the point is that cinema is not dead. It's very much alive. If you have followed the Festival de Cannes this year, well, people coming back home are saying no, movie industry is very much alive. I mean, as not as an industry maybe, but as a artistic endeavor, it's very much alive. What's wrong? It's the industry as a big pop industry. That's what's going on. That it's going very, very poorly as a cinema industry. So in the studio, they put a finger on many things. And in order to do that, they take a producer and they take a major, because majors and producer are the things that are struggling most in Hollywood in this very moment, because major are all struggling. Most of the time they are fighting to stay open, to keep the door open and to keep doing business as they used to do, while on the horizon new studios are there basically trying to become a new major. We have seen the growth of A24, for example. It's a great production company and a great distribution company. And at the same time, we have Neon, that for the 6th time in a row won the Cannes Film Festival. So the industry is not dead, but the major system and the way we used to watch movie, it's in danger. And what I love about the studio, it's that one of the things that talks about pretty loudly is that one of the main problem is that in Hollywood there is no room for art. I mean, we have seen that at Cannes with the homage that they have done to David Lynch. Oh my god, it's fantastic. I was at the airport because I was traveling, I was in Ireland, and I was coming back home, and I watched the opening ceremony, and there was this homage to David Lynch, and I was crying. I was in a corner at the airport, like in fetal position, trying to avoid to let people understand I was actually about to cry. I was just trying to suck the tears in. I was trying very hard, but it was so moving, so intense. There was this singer, now I don't remember the name, but she was there. She was with a piano in one of the biggest cinema in Europe, because the Palais, the main theater in Cannes, they held 2,000 people. The screen is fantastic. There is an amazing acoustic. It's a fantastic movie theater. But anyway, she's there on the stage by herself. We just won light and a pianist playing a song and she's singing, and we see on the screen the footage from Wild at Heart, and then the screen glows black, and just in the last couple of minutes we see a couple of pictures from of David Lynch, of his life, and it was so heartfelt and it was so moving. And people said, why the Oscar haven't done that kind of homage? Why during the ceremony we have a 3 fucking second on a screen? And the thing is that Hollywood, I'm sorry, but it's not where cinema as a form of art lives. It's not their place. It's not its place. I'm sorry about that. People think that it's the place of cinema. It's not. I'm sorry about that. It's Hollywood and the Oscars are like, I don't know, what we see in TV, the Queen dance, how it's called, the kind of prom. It's like a prom. It's a sort of a prom. They pat on the back. It's the cool kids kind of word. It's not artistic. I'm sorry. It's not the place where that kind of homage to one of the greatest artists of cinema and all the arts has ever lived, and they just give a 3-second homage in a stupid montage, and it's disgraceful. I'm sorry about that. But Hollywood is what they describe in the studio. It's an industry trying to make just that. Industry trying to make money, trying to basically produce IP without any idea what they're doing, because what I said when I review Minecraft is that cinema is supposed to work in this way. So you gotta take your audience and say, you gotta come to the movie theater because we have a new story. We always have a new, gripping, fascinating, heartfelt story to tell you. That's what Hollywood was in the past, and that's what cinema in general was in the past. But in the last couple of, I don't know, in the last decade, for sure, Hollywood became the kind of place where just come to the theater because this month we have this new amazing tentpole or blockbuster, this new amazing attraction, like at a theme park. There is new attraction. And then for 3 to 6 months, we are not going to have anything new exciting, but we have this. And you gotta pray the gods that the new attraction is good, because otherwise it's also going to flop. And in fact, Seth Rogen said that while writing the studio, the first draft was super grim and sorry, I have an ambulance speeding outside my window. They're probably trying to take me because they don't want me to talk about this conspiration time. No. Anyway, he said that the first draft was way more pessimist because Barbenheimer wasn't happening. But when Barbenheimer happened, they kind of had a little bit of hope because something happened, because for a series of circumstances, to me totally random, because this was a kind of a publicity stunt. We have seen how the marketing is working in any industry. They suck. I'm sorry. Most of the time, the way the communication, the marketing, it doesn't work. It's terrible. I believe it was just a combination of sheer luck and decent marketing. And not decent marketing, competition, because I believe they just put Barbie and Oppenheimer in the same slate because they want to get back at Nolan, saying, oh, we're gonna release in the same moment Nolan is releasing since he left our studio. I believe that was it. And since internet it's like his own thing, that thing became a Barbenheimer, because it was the crazy thing that you had Oppenheimer, a very grim movie for some part of it, and then you had Barbie, the most fluorescent, superficial things you could get. It was insane. And so we had people going to the theater just for the Barbenheimer. and many people went to the movie theater, and this started again the whole thing. But actually, the situation was pretty grim before that. The industry was suffering. The industry is still suffering because the lot in Hollywood are basically empty. And the thing is that everything started again because Hollywood changes from week to week to month or whatever. Everything can happen, as we said for the Minecraft movie. And then after the Barbenheimer, they had to rewrite a huge part of it. And they have a more truthful, I believe, comedy about how Hollywood works, because in this very moment it works like this. So the producer, they go like, okay, what can we do to bring people to the movie theater? What's the next attraction in this park, in this theme park that we call the cinematic experience? I don't know, let's make a movie about Kool-Aid. That's what happened in the TV show. And it's funny because it happened already, because they made a TV show about Battleship, a board freaking game. And they want to make a movie about The Sims. Why? Jesus Christ. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Sometimes the idea that Hollywood has are so out of touch that I don't know where to start from. And the thing is that they chase numbers and trends, and they chase even memes online. They chase everything that most of the time doesn't really matter, because stuff that you hear online, the memes and stuff, they are very powerful, but at the same time, everything is fake. Doesn't exist. It's not reality. It's a fake reality. If you ignore it, goes away. Doesn't exist. Doesn't actually has an impact. I'm seeing that with The Last of Us. If I go online and see gamer, they are blabbing about stuff that then I talk to the general audience, they don't know jack shit about the game, and they are ecstatic about the TV show, or at least they have very positive opinion about it. So it's two different worlds, and it's insane what the producer they are chasing. They are chasing basically wind. They are chasing something that doesn't exist. And at the same time, the thing is that since they chase instead of creating trends, now there is a major things in Hollywood, because Hollywood used to be that thing that used to create pop icon and stuff. Now Hollywood is basically trying to chase the time, the what's changing in society. It's no longer something that you look up to see what's the new thing, what's going to be the new thing, what's going to be popular now. Hollywood was like dictating the time. Now they lost that because people don't care that much about movies, and everything that Hollywood do is doing IP that are already famous, and try to get a movie out of, I don't know, Kool-Aid. Like in the studio, they are trying to make I don't know, remake, requel, and they keep proposing those scripts that are basically the ripoff of the ripoff of the ripoff of a movie that work with, I don't know, A24 or another kind of small production in under the horror genre. So it's insane. And then the producer, they spent an insane time thinking about politically correctness, also because they follow the internet, and they go like, oh, what can we do, who we cast, what do we do, and doesn't make any sense. And producers are just in the middle of this, and then they are in the middle of the CEO. They just said, okay, I want a movie about the Kool-Aid, and then they go like, oh, you know what, I have this new movie with this great director, okay, an amazing revered director, and then they give you the final cut, and the movie is great, and at some point it's about them. It's very kind of not about telling a story, but about, I don't know, proving a point, their vanity or whatever. And you go like, no, this doesn't work. And you are trying to be the kind of guy that wants to say, no, we gotta cut that. But you don't want to go down in history like the guy who cut maybe a scene or a chunk of a movie that was supposed to be this great piece of art, and instead you decided to cut it. You don't want to be that kind of guy as well. And Hollywood is a place where people backstab each other continuously. It's superficial, and it's the worst, to be honest. And at the same time, there is this thing that it's amazing, that Seth Rogen said, and basically he said it was from an actual producer. I got into this because I love movies, and now it's my job to ruin them. This actually, that Seth Rogen said, that someone actually said, an actual producer. Many things that they said in this TV show are actually from real life experience in Hollywood, something that they went through, or they heard from other producers and stuff like that. And it's very bleak, because you understand that basically it's falling apart in a way. And what I think it works in the studio is that we see so many famous actors playing themselves. We have Zoe Kravitz, we have Anthony Mackie, we have Dave Franco, we have Ted Sarandos, the CEO of Netflix, playing Ted Sarandos. Is not playing a character, he's playing himself. And we have so many famous actors playing themselves. We have even Martin Scorsese playing a role as a Martin Scorsese, and it's amazing. It's the beginning of a series, and it's hilarious, because it's the first attempt of this producer, played by Seth Rogen, and in the show it's called Matt Remick, to actually follow his dreams. So to actually make movies, to make the studios great again, to make, as we can say in a way. So, but anyway, to make great films, and his attempts dies horribly. And it's hilarious to watch. And the thing is that I believe those actor, director, even small director, what I love is that there are director from a smaller production that if you are a film buff, you know them, but if you are the general audience, maybe you don't know them, but they were included because it's clear that Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, and all the other people involved, but mostly Rogen and Goldberg, they didn't want to create something that was paternalistic, or neither they want to create something that was self-indulgent. So they didn't want a TV show that was the cool kid club all over again, or a prom all over again, with everybody making fun of everybody, but actually the joke is never that poignant or whatever. So they wanted to make something that was criticizing Hollywood, but I believe they managed to have so many famous people playing themselves and making fun of the Golden Globes and everything else, and even the way the actors say, oh no, I don't care about the award. Yes, they care about the award big time. But anyway, they managed to do that, because the butt of the joke are never them. They are vile, they are annoying, they are superficial, they are the worst. But the butt of the joke, it's always Matt Remick, aka Seth Rogen, the producer, played by the head of the Continental, played by Seth Rogen. He is always the butt of the joke. It's amazing that we follow him, and we kind of like this guy, because we can see that he likes movies, and he's not a bad guy. He's not a despicable producer. We see that he's trying in a way, but at the same time, we see that every effort that he makes to make this work is gonna blow up in his face. And it's hilarious to watch. And you go like, oh, the poor guy. The Golden Globe episode, that again, it's based on something that actually happened, and something that they know it's working like that, and it's hilarious, because the poor guy, he's trying very hard. He's naive, he's in a way narcissistic as well. Okay, we get that, but in a way that you laugh with him, but also about him. He's the butt of the joke in the end, even if the worst are the ones surrounding him, because they are terrible, and because they are dynamic, they are horrible on a human level. And what I love is that even the other cast member, Queen, played by Chase Sui Wonders, Sal Saperstein, Ike Barinholtz, Maya Mason by Catherine Han. She's fantastic. She's so funny. She's the kind of the marketing, the head of marketing in the Continental. Patty played by Catherine O'Hara, Griffin Mill by Brian Castor. They are all insane. You can see they are having fun playing those roles, and that they are so well written and they are so good in them that it's fantastic. They respond to the script, and their interpretation is great, and they are amazing because as well they are with Matt, but at the same time they are kind of against him in a way. I mean, they are like most of the time they're like they go against him not because they hate him, but because there are kind of some rule of the game that they need to follow in a way. And I can think about, I don't know, even the second episode, the Warner, when they go to check out this film that is the final scene, they have to shoot in one shot, and it's amazing. That episode, for example, is amazing because the poor Matty gets humiliated, and it's a very humble experience for him, and he fails miserably in whatever he wants to achieve, and he wants to be like the one supporting talent and being praised by the talent because he's doing so, but he fails. And at the same time, the episode is amazing because it's called The Warner, and the whole episode is shot with a one take, and they use many one takes. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, they directed the whole series. They use one take here and there during the series in multiple episodes, but this one is special because the whole thing is in one take. And it's not just because it's cool to shoot everything in one take, but because since it's a comedy and the writing is super electric and frenzy, you gotta follow this kind of frenzy, the comedy frenzy, and you gotta follow the character, you gotta see what they're doing, what's going on, and you gotta experience the kind of craziness that goes behind the scene. And I believe it's fantastic. I love the way they shot the whole thing. It's brilliant. No other comedy. I think the only comedy that I've seen shot this well in television was Mrs. Maisel. Mrs. Maisel is fantastically shot. It's amazingly written by Amy Sherman Palladino. She's incredible. She's fantastic. I think she's not receiving enough praise for what she has done with Mrs. Maisel. But anyway, this is a very high level because it's not just technique for the sake of it. It's technique for the sake of the story and the kind of story they are telling. And what I love is that at the end of the day, it's a series that is making fun of Hollywood, but it's also a love letter to Hollywood because it's telling this. I mean, there is the episode of the doctors. There is the episode that we see Seth Rogen going basically to this event with his girlfriend or whatever, she's dating this doctor, and he talks about how stressful is his job, and nobody's taking it seriously. And this is a reflection of what we have today. Nobody's taking movies seriously anymore because Hollywood, that is basically what everybody associates to movies, mostly in the United States, I'm gonna be honest, but even here in Europe, when people think about cinema, they think about Hollywood movies. And sometimes they don't watch Italian movies, they don't watch English movie, they have been watched a little bit more, but English movie, French movie, Irish movie, Japanese movie, just the film buff, they do that. But the general audience, it's still kind of watching just Hollywood, and what the general audience perceive as movies is Hollywood. And since Hollywood is producing just whatever is producing. I'm not gonna point an etiquette on it, but anyway, um, uh, since is producing whatever is producing, seems dull, seems without any sort of art in it. It's frivolous, and so nobody's taking him seriously because nobody's taking seriously the industry itself. That's how it is today. And by the way, in that episode, I love that they used the footage from Push. It was a good movie, but they use it as MK Ultra, this sort of sci-fi. But anyway, sorry about that. Just a quick note. Anyway, we see how the cinema industry is going down. And it's sad if you love the cinema industry. And they are talking about that as well, because it's very sad. Because I am going to read the quote again. I got into this because I love movies, and now it's my job to ruin them. And the thing is that you see, for example, at the Golden Globes, Seth Rogen goes, who are those people? Who are them? Oh, they are influencer. And he goes like, back in the day, being on this carpet meant something. Now it's whatever. Because they have to do that in a way. They need to rely on influencer and TikToker, wherever. And they don't care about the movie. They don't care about movies. They don't care about cinema. They don't care about anything. They just want to be at the glamorous event and have a selfie with, I don't know, Scarlett Johansson and whoever is there. They don't care about the actual art. Cinema, people don't care anymore. And the thing is that they want to portray those major like MGM, Warner, Paramount, and whatever as a dying dinosaur in a way that is no longer able to define time, but is basically just able to be squashed by time. They just there and they can't take it anymore, and they're just defeated. This is a little bit what they're talking about. But in the end, in the very end, the last two episodes are fantastic at the CinemaCon. They are at the CinemaCon in Vegas, and what I love is that they go movies, because they believe still in movies. They still believe in movies. They want them to thrive. They want them to be acclaimed, and they want them to succeed and to be amazing. And in a way, what I love about the studio is that basically they managed to create something that love movies, but at the same time they understood that television today in many ways became kind of bigger than movies. And in fact, if you check the latest comedy that we can see now, most of the time the comedy they go direct straight to video, are produced by Prime Video and whatever, and they're no longer in movie theaters, and that's a major miss. That's a major miss. One of the biggest franchise in comedy, it's Knives Out by Rian Johnson, and the first movie went to the theater, it was a smash hit, and then it went to Netflix. Why? Why? But anyway, the thing is that even comedy, they are not so refined. Even if we but the studio, for example, is well refined when we talk about in a matter of cinematography and directing and acting, and mostly it's something that you remember. It's full of moment of like, thank you Sal Saperstein, yeah, thank you. It's something that you're gonna quote. It's something that you remember. The big Hollywood buffet of the last two episodes, it's something that you remember. The whole thing with Ron Howard in the motel scene and the stuff. The studio, it's full of moments that you can remember, that you're gonna quote, that you're going to use in your life. And this is the magic of cinema. A good movie, when it's a good movie, a good comedy, it's gonna be full of moments you're going to remember, you're going to quote. It's gonna be on a t-shirt one day. And the studio, it's kind of filled with moments that can be on a t-shirt. to be honest, because it's a very iconic kind of TV show, a very iconic about comedy about Hollywood, and I think is going to age very well because they avoided to make the major mistake that they could have made. So make a comedy, a lazy comedy about superhero movies, because in this very moment the superhero movie wave, it's kind of dead. They are trying to revive it. We don't know if they will succeed with Superman or whatever, but it's kind of dead in this very moment. They are trying very hard to revive it, but I don't know if they will succeed. And since they know better than anybody else, probably Hollywood, they decided to go for the broader picture, so to pinpoint the problem with what's inside the industry instead of taking one of the most superficial, let's say, problems. So the superhero movies, that kind of thing. Oh, the superhero movies are ruining cinema. Well, the cinema is ruined by itself already. It's not because of the superheroes. But anyway, what I love as well is that they throw punches. I mean, it's not like they're quoting stuff that do not exist. They want to make fun of a director that can be annoying and stuff like that. They call Ron Howard, and is not Ron Howard playing a character. Is Ron Howard playing himself in a character that, of course, it's over the top, exaggerated, and maybe it's not at all like Ron Howard. Most likely it's not at all like Ron Howard in real life. But it's a character that in Hollywood exists, and they acknowledge that. And when they make fun of something, they make fun of something, mentioning it by name. They don't just hide behind something that it's invented. And the other thing that I love is that every production that they do in the studio, the fake production like Kool-Aid and stuff like that, they put the effort. They call the actors, they shot the scenes. There is a whole episode with Olivia Wilde and Zac Efron, and it's fantastic. It's amazingly well produced as a comedy. Nobody else is producing comedy at this level. And I love that. The last thing I'm going to say about the studio is that I love it because it's like a sort of sitcom 2.0. Because except the first episode that it's a kind of 50-minute long, 40-minute long, any other episode it's like 20-30 minutes long, and it's super smart, super witty, and it's also something that you can enjoy by itself. I mean, you watch an episode and it's fine. It has a narrative inside the world of the studio, but if you watch it as a single episode, it's gonna work as well. And I believe they made something great, and I believe it's, as I said at the beginning, it's the greatest TV show of 2025 so far. I haven't watched Andor season 2, to be honest, but so far it's one of the greatest TV shows of the year. I loved it. I'm in love with it. I hope to see season 2 as soon as possible, because I hope they don't rush it and they just make it as they wanted to make, and they just make a great second season. So whenever it's ready. I hope I will enjoy it. But this is amazing. I love it. If you haven't watched it and you have Apple TV Plus, please go watch it because it's fantastic. Anyway, guys, girls, let me know what you think about the studio. Let me know your thoughts on it, if you like it, if you enjoy it. As always, vote the podcast, share the podcast, and ciao ciao. See you next time. Bye bye.